metalheads brasileiros. Eu sou Sammy Damaxx, estou aqui em Ibiza, no festival Hard Rock Hell, e tenho aqui do meu lado a lenda, o mito, o Tsangarides. Se você não sabe quem é esse cara, desliga esse vídeo agora. Essa lenda produziu não só bandas como Judas Priest, Ozzy Osbourne, Bruce Dickinson, Yngwie Malmsteen. A lista é gigante. So, how are you doing, Chris?
Hey Sammy, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good show, by the way.
Yeah. So Chris, talk a little about how and when it all started.
Well, it started in 1975. I walked into a recording studio as an assistant, training. And that's basically it, really. I walked in there and Studio 1, Black Sabbath were in, Studio 2, Jeff Tom were in, Studio 3, Yes were in, and I thought, oh, Christmas, fantastic. And it was a great place to begin because it was a leading London studio called Morgan, and we got all these great acts. It was fantastic. It was absolutely brilliant. And what really set the thing going was working with Judas Priest on their first album, second album, beg your pardon, my first, and being asked to engineer it. And that was after about 7 months of being in a recording studio and working with this group called Judas Priest, who were very small at the time, but then became Judas Priest.
Yeah, it started awesome.
And it started something, and it kind of set the footprint for my career, for that kind of band, you know.
So how do you see the music business today and how it compares 50 decades back?
Well, basically, it's the same thing. Nothing, it's changed, different ways that you do things. But back in those days, being a professional musician was a career. If you were lucky enough to be signed by a recording company, they would provide finance for you to live, to make your music. That doesn't happen now. With the advent of games, videos, whatever, too many other things for people to spend what little money they have. And I think also the greed of the recording companies, when all the internet stuff started happening, you know, the amount of money they were charging to buy a CD was way beyond what they should have been charging. Had they embraced the new technologies quicker, had they thought, why are we charging these kids so much for a CD? Drop the prices down. We maybe might have had a healthier industry now, you know. And in these times when nobody gives any money for heavy metal music, rock music, because it doesn't sell, well, go to any of the festivals and you tell me hundreds of thousands of people go to see. So you're going to tell me these guys don't like, you know? So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. Now about producing. You worked with Judas Priest, Ozzy Osbourne, Bruce Dickinson.
Sure.
And even the Brazilian well-known Angra.
Yeah.
Just to name a few. How is it producing such bands, and how do you see the process? You generally have a formula to work, or maybe it varies a lot from band to band?
It does vary, because you have to get into the space of what the guys want. But generally, it's the same kind of thing. You start with the backing tracks and then layer and build up from there. And normally I'll get a band, we'll get the pre-production first, which is basically a rehearsal where I hear what they're doing and analyse what instrument is doing what and make suggestions to improve, to change maybe an arrangement slightly. And we try it. And if that's what it should be, then that's what it should be. And really that's down to the taste I have and the taste the bands have. So, but that way you're prepared. So when you go in, bang, it's a question of recording what you prepared. But sometimes we change it again anyway because something better comes along, you know. You might be going for a particular guitar sound and it doesn't work for the song you're doing, but you think, hey, you know, that track we have, we'll do it on that.
And sometimes the producer is like a shrink.
Yeah, okay,
because
yeah.
there's much arguing about guitar tones and guitar lines, vocal lines.
That's right. It's a lot of it is more about working with people and understanding what they're trying to achieve, and then showing them how you can achieve this. The easy part is knowing how the stuff works. You know, once you have a basic understanding of recording and how a mixing console works, off you go. A lot of people buy computer programs and make stuff at home. It's okay. The sound is brilliant, you know, but the reason why records back in the day when things were a lot healthier in the music industry, generally all around, was because each person that you got to be involved in the band was an expert in that particular field. And it's a hard task now to ask a musician to be an engineer, producer, with this computer, when he should be concentrating on writing a song and giving me a great performance. And that's what it's about. And that's why records that you hear that were made years back have a certain atmosphere about that modern recordings don't seem to get, because they were made in a room with nobody playing together, all sampled this, that and the other, and everybody sounds the same. Yes. That's not good.
When you're producing, what you look the most in the musician? Is it timing, feel,
everything?
Technique?
Both, but it's basically feel. You can have a song, there's many songs that I've recorded that kind of speed up by the end. Doesn't matter though, because it gets exciting.
Yeah.
And as long as everybody's going along that groove, and it doesn't get like, it starts like a different song and finishes with a different song, it's great. It's the excitement, it's the natural, and I mean, you know, a little time, not, you know, so you go, oh my god, they speed up. But you know, if you clocked it with a metronome, you could see it's moving a little bit. That's great.
It's curious because many of the things on the performance can be manipulated these days.
Yeah.
Of digital recording. What's your approach towards it, and how does it compare a few days later?
Back?
2 weeks back.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, people out of necessity end up doing it themselves. Because of the budget restraints, no money, what the hell are they going to do? I mean, it costs a lot of money to go in a professional studio, and if there's nobody backing it, i.e. record company, it's down to the musician. So unless you have to be very lucky and have an investor or money of your own, this is the only way you can do it. So when I listen to something, if it's an available commercial release, I hear it. I can tell pretty much if it was done in someone's bedroom or if there was production involved. And generally, the records that were made with old style, i.e. a big studio, professional studio, producer, engineer, band, is always better. Because it is individual. What you tend to do with programs that people use, it'll be a drum machine. I mean, you can say, oh, that's a Dr. Rhythm, that's a this, that's a that. I don't like that. When I hear a song, I want to hear a song, not the method it was made. And that's what we've kind of forgotten a bit, because of the way things have evolved. I don't think it's right that we listen to music as an MP3. It's worse than a cassette. We have all this technology and we're making music that sounds worse than it did when we didn't have any technology. So what the hell is that about?
Because nowadays we have the plugins, we have Melodyne, Auto-Tune.
Yeah. Now, we used to have all these things. Back in analog days, we had an Auto-Tune, you know. It was called Do It Again Till You Sing It Frickin' Right. That was our Auto-Tune.
So, do you take that with a little grain of salt, having the technology? Because
yes,
the technology
yeah, exactly. The way I see it is this. When I started, we tried to do everything as best we could with the technology we had. And that's the attitude still now. We have better technology. So, all things being equal, it should sound better, but it doesn't. Why? Because you haven't had somebody that's been taught by professionals in the studio, learning, sitting, watching, making the tune, and getting it ingrained into them by just being there and seeing how it's done, and then you develop your own style. So that's what I think we're at. I like, if we can have that attitude that was drummed into my head, now, more of that, and use all this technology we have, and not let the technology dictate to you, which is a lot of what's going on. Because people aren't experienced enough, they don't know what's going on. So many things, as you know, like with my God. Before, one microphone, one amp, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, sounds like the technology makes the people lazy.
Correct.
Because there's auto-tune, so I don't have to sing in tune.
That's right, which is the wrong thing.
Yeah.
That thing was invented to try and correct some slight little nuances. If the guy's giving you the best performance, but there's one note that is slightly sharp or flat, you can put it in. And no one would notice it. But most modern record, I can really auto-tune on it, and it puts a sound on the voice or guitar or whatever you use it on. It's just not pleasant. It's synthetic, and it's music. Music comes from the heart and soul. And if you don't do this, what are you doing?
And you also work with my band, Temples of Democracy.
Absolutely.
How was it? Experience.
That thing is insane. Nah, it was great fun coming in, listening to it, and seeing what we could do to do it, because, you know, you recorded it yourselves, it comes to me, and then I just make it as best as I can, and then we have it. And it was great. Very good.
Now there's your free space, sending a message, website, if you have one.
Yeah. My website, well, I just have a Facebook, really. I don't really have a website, but we do have a Dark Lord Records website that you can go to, ladies and gentlemen. It's very good. You might even see Chemicals of Democracy on there.
Can guarantee you.
Absolutely. So do that.
Okay, Chris.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.